What's up, y'all? Welcome to another review by Ryan. A very happy Tuesday to all of you. It is Tuesday, October 4th, and I hope you all are doing well wherever you're at in the world at the time you find this reaction. I'm going to kind of be in a bit of a hurry this time around because I'm dealing with some stuff on my end of things with family members and having to get them from appointments and stuff like that. So if it seems like I'm rushed, that is why. I will talk more in detail about any thoughts that I have in the finale at reaction next week. But in this reaction today, we'll be reacting to the 11th episode of the second season of Love Live Superstar. The title of today's episode is Dreams. So just a few brief thoughts here. You know, we had a great training, I guess you could say, and we had some nice bonding moments between the girls, that's for sure. And of course, the part that I was most excited for was indeed the big Tokyo tournament, in which we, then only got to really see two. One thing I always say is that I wish we could see more of the other kind of one-off groups, or at least maybe pictures or snippets of their performances, but it's okay. We know that, this 12, 13 episode shows, there's only so much they can do. And it was still really good. And we got two great songs. We got Eldeston from Vienna Margaret, and we got Sing, Shine, Smile from Liela. They were both great songs, and they were both vastly different songs from each other. And this is going to bring us to what I believe is going to be one of the biggest arguments I'm going to have about Love Live this year. And it's something that will, again, get me crucified in the East, not so much in the West, but it's something that I have to, I'm going to have to accept for what it's going to be. And why do I say that? Well, I had some conversations about the show with some other friends of mine, both here in the States and also some of my overseas fans and watchers of my reactions. And, we talked pretty intently about the fact that the franchise tends to not really like overly big turmoil with the prime group or the main group of a particular series, or if there is going to be turmoil, they like to find a way to be able to wrap it up very nicely to where everyone can basically do kumbaya and hold hands and sing and everything and stuff, and everything is going to be good. But we all know, I know, and you know that the real life idol world doesn't exactly work that way. And so I think that as I go into this episode, one of my biggest and most gravest concerns that could considerably affect my rating of the second season as a whole is if, and I hate to say it this way, Liela wins. I personally understand that Sing, Shine, Smile basically is the true to heart definition of what the Love Live competition is supposed to be about. It's, very similar to in real life when it comes to good sportsmanship, even in something like the Olympics. But the reality is that we are competing. We are competing on a national level, competing against other national groups for the top prize. And, while I have always kind of been able to accept victories and losses here and there, with Muse and Aqua, and Niji, of course, did not compete. Thank goodness for them. They made a great decision not to compete. I've always felt that it was fine with the fact that Aqua and Muse was able to ultimately win their respectable tournaments. They had really, really great songs. And one of the issues I'm having is I love the songs this season. Y'all know I always love every song that comes out from the Love Live franchise for one thing or another. But it does feel like there's just something missing with the last one or two songs of Liela this season. And Sing, Shine, Smile, compared to the song that Vienna Margaret did, I hate to say it, it just wasn't comparable, guys. Even if you want to sit here and say that, hey, but Sing, Song, Smile follows the purpose of this tournament, which I understand, it still doesn't mean that at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a tournament for the best and top idol. Now, it is, of course, a vote, ultimately by the people and the votes that come in. But it's just, I'm saying all of this to say this. I go into this episode expecting Liela to win. And I'm not going to be happy about that. And if you want to know more about why I'm not going to be happy about that, feel free to listen to my previous reaction. And then subsequently crucify me about the fact that, well, she doesn't follow the spirit and the heart of the franchise. But that's not exactly, first off, it's kind of been a word to mouth thing that it's supposed to always be a thing about really bringing all the great idols of the nation together, and ultimately being able to celebrate that, and that's perfectly fine with celebrating that. But we're competing first, and you cannot sit here and tell me that Sing, Shine, Smile was better than Elliston. You just can't say that. But if you do, I'll respect it, but I'm not going to agree with it. So, we'll see how this goes. It's just all the signs, and because of me being a veteran of the Love Live franchise, for better or worse, I get this feeling they're about to pull some BS, and Vienna Margaret's going to have found a way to lose because she was not following the spirit of the tournament. And I'll let y'all know how I feel about that when we get to the end. But let's go ahead and watch and see if I was absolutely true in that thoughts, and then, I'll share my thoughts, and we'll talk more in the finale next week. All right, so again, the title of today's episode is Dreams. And let's get this started in 3, 2, 1. And it was, a relatively good training thing that they did. It was fine. And then you said it wasn't a real song, which, again, that's a whole nother conversation. And I respect the wanting to grow together, but it's just also the gap between y'all and her is just ridiculous. They gonna say her. They gonna say her. They are gonna say Vienna lost and that she was second. They going to, because of the fact she wasn't in the spirit and their song matched more. I don't think I've ever... That is wild. That is wild. That is wild. So now Sunny Pa and Fucking Vienna Margaret ain't gonna be in the finals. Well, who gonna beat them? Ain't nobody else gonna beat them. Bruh. Well, I guess that also has completely eliminated a third season possibility. Because that was really another reason why I kind of wanted their loss here with everything. And the fact that they still needed to grow as first years with the second years. Because now, it just... Oh, and she is about to start war. Oh boy, I can tell that this is gonna split the community for sure. This entire episode, shoot, I might be crucified off of being able to do Love Live reactions after this, but I'm just gonna have to hold to it. But we'll talk more at the end. I promise y'all, we'll talk more. I will be reasonable this episode to hear this out. I knew Leila was gonna win, and that ultimately it was gonna come down to one thing. With Leila, because they sung the theme of what Love Live is about, that's going to connect more to the audience. Yes, Vienna Margaret was more, very direct and very powerful and passionate with the song that she was performing. And I love the lyrics of her song. It left people speechless, unable to really describe what they felt, compared to Leila, where they know exactly what they felt. So I know that that's all the things that I'm going to hear. But I do not agree that Leila should have won this. I just don't agree. But ain't that something? This episode is about to be chaos. Oh, this episode is about to be chaos. All right, so let's hear what it is. What? And that's perfectly fine. But to say that her song... Wow. But also, that her song doesn't really count. as I said, Kanan has kind of rubbed me the wrong way the last couple of episodes since we were dealing with the cuckoo thing, but it's fine. It's fine. I cannot believe that their song was better than that. I agree. Again, I would be fine if that alone is where Kanan left it at. But she made the comment that her song really wasn't real. That there wasn't the way to really say. That's why I'm really triggered right now. But okay. I mean, now we know for a fact y'all are going to win. And we expect it. Her song was really nice. Her song was the best song performed that day. Probably. Since we don't know what the other songs were. I mean, I'm sure there's something deeper, but you got to. Happy New Year's Day. Oh. Wow, this did happen on New Year. I'm so frustrated I didn't even realize that it was. Oh, wow. Oh, my girl, you are. Bro, I'm so frustrated right now. Oh. And that's because she didn't. I mean, because, yes, obviously we knew she didn't really care about Love Live. And obviously her words were, very harsh and not acceptable for the. And again, if that had been the sole premise of her not getting it, no issues with that. But we know that that's not what was really going on here. Having to sit here and say that she got. Shit. Oh my goodness. Watch your damn words though, because so far you've. Man. And that was rough. I mean, I am interested in knowing more. But mm, uh, of course. Unfortunately, you are up against, as I've been saying, and this is that. Oh, I mean, they're not going to do that now. They're not going to do that now. Sorry to say that, but they're not going to do that. I mean, someone has to believe. And yes, it did match the theme. It did. I confess to that. But it still wasn't the better song. If this was any other set of circumstances, I would be absolutely celebrating their success right now. But I guess that the show is trying to be like, if we let her win with that type of personality and nastiness, she'll never improve, which means there'll never be a chance for her to actually get along with the main group later. Which all falls back to the fact that they will not allow anything of conflict to actually win here. Because just from the song, not from who has more care for Love Live, but the song in general, their song was not better than Rihanna's Margaret's. It just wasn't. But I guess it's just what it is. Giants. Hey! You rescue my she. The hell happened? What is about to go wrong now in this already frustrating episode? Oh, wow! Yo, double dirt. Oh, man. She'd be transferring? What the hell? So not only did she beat her, but the She got an invite to the very thing that Vienna was trying to get in herself. Also, I gotta say all this time, I'm still confused if I'm supposed to say Vienna or Vienna. Yeah, so they're just saying Vienna. So I guess I'm just gonna say Vienna for now on. And again, I have always commended Kanan's musical prowess. She's obviously really good musically. And if this was not what we were faced with, I'd be over the moon celebrating her success at getting this, because this will make up for any failure that she had here. And in a way, I do. It's just it's rubbed me wrong how this whole deal between her and Vienna has gone. So what are y'all doing? I have no idea. Yeah, Vienna. So they're just. Oh no! How the hell she get down so fast? Which does match what our leaders have always wanted in all the groups. I mean, that wasn't at all. Because if that was the case, then you definitely would not have came up to Vienna like you did. So what's Shisato going to say? Bro, she just catching. What? Bruh, she is taking L's all episode. Well, boy. I mean, you dress more appropriately. They bought a whole Kotatsu, I swear. Body heat regulator, oh my. Disrespectful. Disrespectful. What in the heck is about to happen? Oh my goodness. Bruh. So that she can be under her shadow. You know, the story would have wrote itself if it had just followed what I wanted it to follow. But because it's going in this path, I have no idea how I feel about this development. And this is actually really weird for me, guys, because like I told y'all, 3 consecutive groups out of Love Live, I've never actually really been conflicted about an end result or an end goal or anywhere that they've chosen to take us. I'm actually really concerned about how I feel right now. Okay, guys, so due to time, I'll do my best to be as very brief about this as possible, and I will hear all of your gripes and grievances about my thoughts next week. First, so to get it out of the way, I do not believe the best person won, honestly. If we're going just from a raw standpoint of musical prowess and, from a performance standpoint, Edelson was definitely the best song. I do believe that Sing, Shine, Smile absolutely was another solid song for the group. Again, it was not the strongest song by any means for the group, and it definitely was not any of my favorites that I have. But it was a good song. It's just perhaps it really just comes down to now my overall frustration with, or I guess you could say after 3.5, 4 seasons, or 4 groups plus, and 10 plus years, my lack of understanding about what the criteria of winning Love Live and what as a whole is. Now, it is a popularity as we've known. So, depending on the people's decision, they determine who the victor is. And I do believe that, ultimately Leila did win because of the fact that it was a simpler song. It did not have a lot of complexity, and they were able to connect with the audience better. And it is a great example of, short and sweet at times can win and complexity can lose. But, I think that I probably look at this too much on a literal sense when it comes to musical competition. So I don't know if you can tell, my shirt says "Got Trombone." Many of you do not know I actually am a nationalist, a nationalist musician, and what I mean is that when I was going through middle, high school, and collegiate education, I did compete on the local, state, and national level. I was very proficient trombonist. Trombone is my favorite instrument. And I remember those competitions, and I remembered some of the great people that I met along making it to the internet, to making it to the national and almost the international circuit. And great people from countries like up north in Canada, China, Malaysia, Japan. I went up against some really great musicians, and I didn't feel, and it was one of those things where it truly came down to, yes, we had a natural camaraderie and respect for one another, but when we're competing to be in those type of positions, we are competing to be the very best. And as I guess, what Kanan said, to let our music do the talking. But I feel in my heart that it was a cop-out that Leila won. I felt genuinely and truly that if they had lost, and then she went on, and then Vienna went on to the actual final competition and lost, that I feel that the story would have wrote itself in a greater way. That Kanan, because she would have still did what she did now, that, hey, well, we did it the way that we felt was best for us and for our group. And I would have not done it any differently, and I definitely would not have competed against Love Live. I would have accepted any number of circumstances better than the way that this win and loss went. But this episode had several things that kind of off-put me. And in second, now not only did that happen, but Kanan has now received an invitation from the Vienna Musical School, the very school that we came to find out that Vienna herself was, had a deal with her family that she was trying to get in, and basically that everything kind of revolved around Kanan. Now, I will say that now explains why she has been very spastic and very adamant about her understanding that this is not where she needs to be for her musical career. And I will say there's another person who said a similar thing, and that's none other than Chisato. Because, as we all know, we learned about how deep her bond with Kanan was, and she knows how heartbroken Kanan was when she first did not get into the music program at the school that they're at now. So, it is, obviously Chisato, when she heard about what was going on, she would come and realize, hey, this actually could be a great opportunity. I know you love us. I know you love this. But your dream, first and foremost, was to be at this musical level. Now, it could go both ways. It could go, well, Ryan, people have dreams all the time and dreams change all the time. And that's absolutely true. But I kind of do believe that she's just kind of going with the flow of things. And Kanan's, just kind of saying things in a way. And I just don't. I really do believe that if Kanan ultimately did not make the statement she did in the last episode, that her song wasn't the right way. And I keep mixing up the phrase a bit, but y'all know what the phrase was that was said. And basically, I don't agree with the way that she addressed Vienna on that. Vienna does need direction. She's still a middle schooler at the end of the day, and she is the youngest person that's present here. And obviously, she is very spastic with certain things she does, and she's the type of person who needs direction. I still feel a little differently with her than I feel with someone like Lanzu, who I feel just was not. There was nothing you could do to really save her in the game. I believe that's a different set of circumstances here with Vienna Margaret, and it's just one of those things where I don't really like the way that they chose to go about this, and I hope it makes more sense to y'all listening than it sounded to me saying this out loud. But This has definitely kind of put me on shaky ground with how I feel about the story. I can definitely say it ain't an 8 no more, guys. And I'm going to sit and think a lot about it until we get prior to us getting to the final episode next week. But, there's a lot of things that have been here and there that I've had where I felt that the chemistry was best with the 5 members. I feel that the 9 members kind of rushed to be. I still feel that we, for plot purposes, made it that suddenly these 9 girls, including 4 who literally did, we could say at most 5 days of consistent training and then 1.5 days of leisure, that for them to suddenly be at a level where they were surpassing the musical prowess of someone like Vienna, it just doesn't sit with me, and I feel that it's quite frankly BS. But, we've had things like with, Muse defeating Arise and then of course Saint Snow having to bow out to Aqua, but it still felt more natural, and I felt that the story was better suited for those victories in Muse and Aqua and their universes than I feel it matches up here. So that's kind of my thought, guys, and I know that this is going to come with controversy. I want y'all to still understand I still love Liela. I still love them as a group, and I still love the singing prowess of someone like Kanan. But the way that everything with Vienna has been handled, it doesn't sit right with me, and I really just am not happy with the results of the Tokyo competition. But that's my thoughts. Please, as always, feel free to let me know how you feel. Do you think that the right person won? Do you feel that the wrong person won? Let me know what you think in the comments. I know I'm going to get crucified. Depending on how bad the crucifixion gets, I may or may not just take this reaction off my platforms altogether. It's very rare for me to actually not agree with the collective community, but I realize that these last 2 episodes has really kind of got me feeling a certain way, and I'll have to sit on this for a week and then hopefully come back with a more clear head next week. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you did like the reaction, for the rare ones who will, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. So I will see all of you next week. It is the finale next week, so I will see you all next week for episode 12 and the finale of the 2nd season of Love Live Superstar. Until that time, catch you later.